get my bag first.
Windows, you live in a rough neighborhood. That's what I'm saying. What's funny is that the first email I got from you always said, I need an account line or an account line for a tire repair. It was $1,080. And I said, I need to see that receipt.
You've got the TV.
Oh,
Should have had a house to it.
She's like, well, maybe it was a replace.
well, it's weird. Arms. Like saying, hey, which is the and so it came on. I didn't volunteer. I don't know. Okay, boss.
I didn't get the PO that was let go off. It was 900, but then the tax took it over, and I was like,
You got it.
You ready to go now?
What's your name? Charlie. Hey, buddy. Sunshine.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started this evening. We're going to call this Board of Director meeting to order Thursday, October 11th, 6 p.m. We'll start with the pledge of the flag. Director Wood, if you please.
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The open session meeting is videotaped for cablecast on Metro Cable 14, replay on Saturday, October 13th at 3 p.m. and Monday, October 15th at 1 p.m. on Channel 14, webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv. The open session meetings are also available for viewing on the district website at www.metrofire.ca.gov. And right now is the opportunity for the public to discuss matters of public interest within the district's jurisdictions, including items on or not on the agenda. Madam Clerk.
Yes, we have Roger Mitchell.
Mr. Mitchell, thank you for being here.
Board Chair Barnes, board members, chief, staff, my name is Roger Mitchell, but I'm here tonight to thank the board members, Chief Harms, Chief Casantini, and staff for supporting our fundraiser that we've talked to you about in the past for the restoration of Rio Linda's second fire engine, as well as the restoration of your building, old Rio Linda Station 1. So I want to thank all of you, for the directors that have purchased tickets, the chief, Chief Casantini, staff. But again, I would be remiss if I didn't remind you that our chief speaker that night will be Sue Frost, our supervisor. But the person that's going to introduce her is a world-renowned speaker and was our guest speaker last year also. So that will be Chief Todd Harms. So in the realm of bringing Chief Harms and Sue Frost a little closer to work with the fire district and hopefully get more money for our district and our project, that's why that was set up that way. So again, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for supporting this. We've seen many of you over to the station to look at what we're doing. We appreciate that. And if there's any questions this evening, I'm certainly prepared to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Mr. Mitchell? No, sir. Thank you for being here this evening.
Thank you, Director.
Moving on to the consent items. Do we have any questions regarding that?
No questions. Move the consent calendar, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please.
Director Jones.
Aye.
Sheets.
Aye.
Wood.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Barnes.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. And moving on to the action items, the Assistance of Firefighters Grant Program Acceptance, SCBA. Chief Casatini and Ms. Erin Castleberry.
Good evening, directors. Here tonight to request that the board accept a fiscal year 17 AFG grant award in the amount of $4.1 million for the replacement of 636 SCBA units and an additional 328 face pieces. The district was part of a regional grant that included Metro Fire, Consumnes Fire, Forest Hill Fire, Lincoln, Placer Hills, Rockland, Roseville, Sac County Airports, and South Placer Fire District. So we applied for that earlier this year and just received on September 21st the award notification. So we are requesting acceptance of that grant. I'll take any questions you have.
Thank you.
All right, and Chief Casantini has some additional information regarding the SCBA's for Metro.
Copy. Thank you. Thank you. Chief Casatini.
Good evening, Board President, Board of Directors, Chief Bridge. Greg Casantini, Deputy Fire Chief. So in addition to the grant, there are additional items that Metro Fire is going to need to support this program. Being that we got the max grant allowed, there are quite a few additional items that we'll need. I don't have a current cost figure for you now. When we do put all the number and pieces together, we'll come back for a budget adjustment at that time. But these items are going to include 200 additional cylinders, RIC packs, some compressors, and other items that we need to expand out beyond what the grant supplies. So we'll come back to you several months from now with a budget adjustment in more detail at a presentation at that time. Any questions at all about the grant from myself or Erin Castleberry?
None for me. Any questions or comments from the board? No. Thank you for being here.
All right. Thank you very
Appreciate it.
much.
This is an action item, so if we don't have any questions, we'd need a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll move the staff's recommendation.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second, Madam Clerk.
Director Jones?
Aye.
Sheets? Wood?
Aye.
Clark?
Aye.
Kelly?
Aye.
Barnes?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. Moving on to reports, President Report. I don't have anything other than I want to thank Director Sheets for chairing the last meeting as I had a conflict, so thank you for doing that. Moving on to the Fire Chief's report, Chief Bridge.
Well, good evening, directors. Sitting in the seat for Chief Harms, it is my honor to report out for him as he's back east currently. His first stop back east was at the National Fallen Firefighters Memorial in Emmitsburg, and he was able to share some pictures with us. It's quite the bucket list for anybody in the profession that gets a chance to go back there, and just down the road from Gettysburg, which I know he spent some time as well. Currently enjoying some vacation time up in Maine. After that, though, in our reassignments, we have some drill instructors that will be reassigned for the Single Role Paramedic Academy 18-3 starting next week. Firefighter Paramedic Roger Hart, Firefighter Paramedic Matthew Randazzo, Firefighter Paramedic Ryan Mahan will be on the temporary assignment beginning next week. On the recruitment side of the house, we are currently recruiting for supervising inspector for a promotional exam. That's going to begin November. That exam will be held on November the 9th. Some of the meetings that the fire chief has been attending, most recently, he was at the California Firefighters Memorial Ceremony on September 29th with some other chief officers and members. And that was at the same time with Deputy Mark Stashik's service that myself and Chief Shannon and many other members from our department were at as well. So we were honored to be there. Then on October the 3rd, the Sacramento Fire Department's had a change of command ceremony welcoming Gary Loesch, if I'm pronouncing that right. He is from Philadelphia, served there for 30 years. And his wife, and they're moving out here with him, and they're starting their journey on the West Coast. So I think Chief Shannon and Chief Casantini were able to attend that meeting as well. From the community relations side, our cancer awareness engine is back, and it is out and about currently at Station 61. It started on October 1 at Station 109 in Carmichael, and then was moved to 61 on Tuesday, and it will move to Station 50 on this Friday, October 19th. I know they were going to attempt to make a stop here tonight, but we'll see how that goes. I know they're in service, also. So, yeah, is it downstairs? Okay. And we could discuss, I'll let you, Director Barnes, discuss how we want to, if you want to get down there and see that, or if you want to do it after. Let's see, what else do we have? It will assist AlbiAware and the Sacramento Kings and Sac Kings Community Impact Team and dancers with a breast cancer survivor tour this Saturday, with Albia Award surprising 4 patients throughout the region, including one in Rancho Cordova, with surprises from the Kings for them and their families, where they'll get some support and some tickets to games and things like that. So that's always a real nice event. Also on October 13th, it will attend the Lady Legends softball tournament at the Sacramento Softball Complex, hosted by AlbiAware, after the Survivor Tour. On October 20th, it will attend the Elk Grove Ford Pink Day, along with the traditional Cosumnes Fire District engine. On October the 24th is the annual Pink in the Paint game at Golden One. This is where both us and the Sacramento Fire Department will have our wrapped engines on display for the first time. This game was actually moved to an in-season, a regular season game, as opposed to a preseason game by the organizations to maximize exposure for that event. So that'd be nice. Sticking with the theme, El Dorado Hills Local 3604 is hosting the second annual Movember golf tournament. Mustaches, called Mustaches and Mulligans. It's on December 3rd at Serrano Country Club, and there's flyers available for sponsorships and foursomes for that event. It is Fire Prevention Week, and this year's theme is Look, Listen, and Learn. We're looking for fire hazards, listening for your smoke detector, and learning 2 ways out of your home. We're also working with UL, that's Underwriters Lab, and their Close Your Door program. Again this year, we've had 2 local media spots, including Fox 40 this morning with Captain Chris Vestal, and are looking into some other opportunities for acquired structure demonstration burns. As you know, Chief Harms sits on the advisory panel, advisory board for the UL, along with we have Captain Russell Gardner is one on the technical committee for UL. And so we have a good relationship with them on the national level, and we continue to work with them closely, and we're hoping to get that training and awareness opportunity with UL through our training division. Lastly, tonight, the Sacramento Kings with Shreve Jewelers are presenting Metro Fire and Sacramento Fire with a Hometown Hero Award tonight on behalf of all members of our agency, including Sacramento Fire Department and the Sacramento Operational Area, who deployed to wildfires this year at tonight's game. Captain Grant Russell, on behalf of our Air Operations Division and all of our personnel, will accept the honors on the court during the first time out of the first quarter tonight. So that's quite the honor, and we're very, very proud of our all of our members, especially our Air Operations, who had a big impact this year on the wildfires. So that's all I have. Let's see, you have anything else?
Very good. Thank you. Any questions or comments for Chief Bridge? Don't go too far because you're back up again on the
back up with
operations
the
part.
very brief on the operational. It's been fortunate that we've had a kind of a quiet, relatively speaking, relatively quiet couple of weeks. So the thing that I think we wanted to pass along in regards to, along with our continued average responses of around 3,700 calls over the last few weeks. But the bigger point we want to make operationally and remind everybody is the fire season's not over yet. So we're just asking the public to do their part in due diligence when mowing lawns at the right time of the day. The fuels, the trees, the grass, the brush, all the moisture in them is still extremely, extremely low. And the fire conditions are still ripe. The way it's sitting out there right now is just like it was 12 months ago when Santa Rosa started. That was in October this time last year. So just a reminder, everybody, please be careful out there. It's still fire season, and we're hoping to get a few good wet soakings before we let any guards down. So that's it from the operations side.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Moving on to Local 522, Vice President Trevor Jamison.
President Barnes, Board, Chief Bridge, staff, always great to be here tonight. It's been quiet kind of for us too, but I just wanted to touch on September 29th. It was the Firefighter Memorial, Deputy Stasek's memorial, and it was with heavy hearts that Metro Fire's family was separated that day, attending both events. I attended the memorial. I know we had many members attend the deputy's memorial as well. But it reminded me that the brotherhood and sisterhood that exists out there in the public safety realm and taking care of each other. Many of our members were involved that day. and they still today are going to deal with those effects. And we talk about, I know I'm going to go back, but the wellness and taking care of each other. And it's good to see that we have that here. And it's great that the board's aware. It's great that staff's aware, 522 is aware. So I just want to always remind ourselves that that's what we do. We take care of each other, and we take care of the public. It makes us take care of the public much better when we take care of each other. On to something a little bit more recent and happy. We had general membership today at 522. And I just want to start off by saying it's great sometimes when you don't have an election, because it takes away some of the politics that go out. But today we'll have one new director. It's Joel Roberts, and Sean Conant will be continuing on as director. Sean's been a director for about 4 years, and Joel Roberts will be a new director. He's been a shift rep for about 8 years. A wonderful, wonderful member of Metro Fire and 522. Great person to work with. I hope you all get to know him. And in closing, I just want to say he will serve out his term until January, but John Barsdale has just been a fierce, fierce defender of labor, Metro Fire, and he's incredible service to the community, incredible service to 522, and I know he'll be here and be around, but I just want to thank him publicly. It'll kind of be a transition period until January, but that's all I have unless you have any questions.
Thank you for being here. Any questions or comments? No, I too echo the comments about Barsdale. Many times the phone would ring, and sometimes my ears would bleed because he's passionate about the membership. So we appreciate all he's done and as he continues to serve out. So thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Moving on to committee and delegate reports. Executive committee, I do not have anything, and we have no meetings scheduled at this time. Communication Center JPA, Chief Johnson, I don't see him. The next scheduled meeting on that one is Tuesday, October 23rd at 9 a.m.
Chief Shannon is going to tell you that.
He's coming up next.
Okay.
He knew it. He knew it. See, he knew. California Fire and Rescue, JPA, Chief Shannon.
Thank you. We have not met since September 20th. We will meet January 17th, 4 o'clock, across the hall. Thank you for that.
Thank you for the extensive report out on that. Appreciate it. Moving on to the Finance and Audit Committee, Director Kelly.
Mr. Chairman, the Finance and Audit Committee will meet again on Thursday, the 25th, 2 weeks from this evening at 5:30 p.m.
Thank you very much. And Policy Committee, Director Clark.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the Policy Committee met today to discuss editing the catastrophic leave bank for represented employees. This will not go to the full board. It's just for informational. Basically, the issue was to exclude members employees who are at the academy, and to exclude them from the policy until they graduate, because they don't start accumulating hours until after they graduate. That's all we had. And the next meeting is to be determined.
Thank you very much. We will go into closed session, but first we'll do board member comments and questions, and then at the conclusion of closed session, I don't anticipate that being very long. We'll go down if that's okay. If the fire rig's out there, we'd like to come down and see it. So thank you for being here for that. Starting on my far left, Director Kelly.
Yes, I would like to apologize to the group. I neglected to fill out either of the reviews, and I got a reminder from the office and everything else, and just got away from me, so my apologies. I was not part of that group.
Thank you very much. Director Clark.
Yes, with the fire season, thank God, is slowing down, and we don't have all these big fires going on. I want to thank the men and women of Metro Fire for the great job that they did during that season, and hopefully we keep things slow. So hopefully till next year, and I hope that we don't have another year like we had this year. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Clark. Director Wood.
I just echo what Director Clark said, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Director Sheets.
No comment.
No comment. Okay, Director Jones.
Thank you. I do have two items. One is I'm so glad we're getting the SCBA grant. A few decades ago, that was not seen as an integral piece of equipment for the fire service, and today, full bore it is. So I'm just delighted that we got that grant, and we're continuing to provide our members with the safest possible working conditions. under general conditions that are usually pretty harsh. So that's great. The second item I wanted to relay is last week I attended the Cal-LAFCO annual conference. All 58 counties in California have a local agency formation commission, a boundary commission. I'm privileged to serve as special district representative on our Sacramento County one, and this past year I was very glad to be able to serve as chair for the Cal-LAFCO. The emphasis on this conference was on tree mortality and the emphasis on wildfires, what to do about it, how to handle it, and looking towards the future. It was very, very interesting. The one panel that I moderated was on fire district consolidation. And it's a terrible pun, but it's always a hot topic. It always is. And part of our job is to educate LAFCO commissioners on what the fire service does. And I want to compliment, we had a number of fire chiefs from up and down the state participate, and it was very, very successful. We always have to be in an educational mode and looking forward to the future on how to, one of the goals for LAFCO is to deliver efficient municipal services. And boy, fire's right up there at the top. So we'll continue to work on that goal throughout the state. And it was a very, very successful conference, and the fire service played a big role.
Thank you very much. The only couple of comments I have are related to the 29th and the State Fire Memorial. And when you look at the members that are enshrined in that, majority of them are based off of caustic chemicals that they've encountered over their careers, and some are in the line of duty deaths. But that was the same day as we had a memorial for Deputy Stasiuk, and I will tell you, leading up to that, when there was a movement, we had to honor him and move him from downtown to where his final resting place is before the memorial service. I made a phone call just for traffic mitigation that there was going to be a procession and it might impact some traffic if there was emergency response needed. Unbeknownst to me, scrambling within an hour and a half, every overpass had fire crews standing on top. And I will tell you, I had to drive a portion of the family up there, and there was not a dry eye. And again, to echo what Trevor Jameson said about the public safety camaraderie was it was first class. And that's what I love about being part of this board, this organization. But when it's that and the family gets to see the respect, and it's a hero's burial, just like at the state memorial, it's a hero's burial and what they do. So on that, I just thank everybody that was part of that, that had to separate. It tore all of us apart, one not being able to State Fire Memorial and the ones who had to be at the Deputies Memorial. But again, for that partnership, that camaraderie, first class, again, reminds everybody who's in the profession, it's the right profession. So thank you again. We're going to adjourn into closed session now. Thank you.